Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Race Spec Esports here on the PC, the Euro Series. My very first, wow, what a place to be. I'd like to say a big welcome to you all. It's an absolute pleasure to be calling this race here tonight. My first full Race Spec Esports TV, such a massive moment, or Race Spec Esports, should I say. I'm too used to my own channel, to apologise. But yes, here we are. It is the Bahrain Grand Prix here at Season 2, and it is Race 2, having Race 1 already, and we are now delving in to the start of this, our first episode here live here at Race Spec F1 Esports. Just to go through the driver list, we've got so much to tell you here as we come through. We'll go through the teams, I suppose, just to start off with. Silver and Sean MCE currently occupying the Red Bull team, looking further down, BBix and I Am Tucono in the Mercedes. Marco NCBP and Gabo Master BP, both representing the Haas drivers. The Haas team, should I say, disconnected, and Lucas Gambarini representing Team Renault. The guys from France are going to be looking to cause some serious upsets here. Marco Lomi and the Dark Champion in the red Ferrari. The Prancing Horse looking to strike again. VI, Provenza and Chavinio 2005 are taking the McLaren. Kabai Fancy and Angela Losi are both in the Alfa Romeo. We also have Matthew Clip and Hume Benjamin. They are in the Toro Rosso. And we got Pit F1 and F1 VL Seb in the Williams. The Targa, Alagi and Noko 12 Huang Ping are in the Racing Point. We're looking forward. We got plenty on here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be going in and amongst it any second now. I believe they are finally underway here at qualifying, so we'll just go ahead and join the drivers out on track right now. And as we do so, we'll have lots to call through the race proceedings. Just about to start the stream, and here we go. As you can see, the drivers are about to head out on track. We've got a few on-out laps already. We'll just have to go through the teams now as we go through. Just need to make sure I'm all hooked up here. Do apologise. Naturally, I've got my controller settings here. Bear with me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Won't be long indeed. Right, so we're out on track with the drivers now. Hang on, guys, just need to get the stream up as well, just so I can see what you guys are doing. Joseph says, what's up? What's up, Joseph? Great to see you guys live on the stream here tonight. Let me just have a little look as to what's going on. Yeah, right, brilliant. Here we go. Now we're talking. Sorry, guys, be right back with you. Here we go. Brilliant. So, we're now following Silver at the moment in the Red Bull. Just flicking through there. We've got such a varied amount of drivers here in this league. Looks like 16 drivers, so a very competitive outing here. Obviously not the full allocation that we'd expect here, but nonetheless, still plenty to play for. And be looking forward to seeing what these guys can do on the track. Obviously, this is my first time commentating on these guys, so naturally, we're a little bit in the dark as to who's doing what. We're just on board here at the moment. With that of Silver, who's in the Red Bull at the moment. So I'm just going to read a few guys here in the comments. Hello, Georgie, there from Pains. Pains, how's it going? Xspirit, waving the hands egg. Hello, Xspirit, my man, joining us here in the chat. But yeah, great to see all the guys here. Excellent. It's just what we want to see. Plenty of people here enjoying the racing. And already Angelosi is out on the hards. We've got disconnected on the softs. Let's take an interest into what these guys are doing. It's going to be awesome. Hang on, I'm hearing myself in the chat, so I'm going to mute myself a minute. 2 seconds. There we go. That's better. That is a lot better. Nothing worse than be able to hear yourself while you're trying to commentate a race. Nightmare. But yeah, here we go. Excellent. Back on track here now. So we're following now. Angelosi, I'm just going to pit through the runners just to see who is whereabouts on track at the moment. As we follow around, Seb, he's on the hard tyres, got Trojan on the hard tyres. It's going to be interesting to see what the drivers are like as they make their first efforts here in qualifying. We've got a few here. Seb notches together a 1:28.5. The times are coming in thick and fast, folks. And as we're looking through, it's going to change his camera type. Obviously, the Haas drivers looking to stamp their authority here at qualifying. Bahrain, incidentally, just to give you guys a few facts and figures, do you know how much the construction cost was for this circuit? None other than 56.2 million dinars, which is obviously the currency at the Sakhir Bahrain circuit and in that country. It was founded and opened, actually, it broke ground in 2002, but the first opened in March of 2004. December was when they first agreed to start building the track. Incidentally, $150 million spent here in order to get this track up and running. So that's phenomenal. As Marco NCBP goes 128.578. Haas looking extremely dangerous as Seb goes into P2 as well. So already we're seeing some real changes at the top of the grid so far. So amazing scene so far from these guys as Marco makes his way down the back straight, heading towards the left-hand corner. This goes by the Victory Grandstand, which is the large grandstand there. You can see on the right-hand side. In fact, there's two of them. But you can also see in the centre, you've got the helicopter pad as well as he makes his way round towards the next part of the circuit. Incidentally, this is Sector 3, making his way down towards the semi-straight, which will lead them towards the home straight. So we're just going to look further down now, because obviously plenty of drivers out on circuit. Obviously, we want to get a good idea as to who else is currently out on flying laps. Incidentally, I believe we've got Silver out on track at the moment. Let's keep an eye on him and follow him around this grandiose circuit. Here at Bahrain, as the Red Bull makes his way around the right-hand bend. He's got the semi-circuit now ahead of him. Let's see what he can do on the hard tyres. Incidentally, Seb qualifying at 128.780 on hard tyres as he makes his way around. He's in P2, so we want to see what Silver can do around this track. Now he comes up towards the straight, and it looks like this man Silver, here in the Red Bull, will it give him wings? He gets P4 with a 129.109. Absolutely tremendous result for him in P4, and he'll be pleased with that as an initial lap, though I'm sure he'll have more to go. We have still got 12 minutes left in qualifying. We've got plenty to see here, folks, and I'm sure these guys will leave nothing to chance in this session here at Bahrain. Still plenty of drivers yet to field times. We'll just go through some of the initial runners. Just seeing there, Matthew Clipper there as well. Matthew Clip, incidentally, and VI Provenza with a 128.402. McLaren here again, looking like the big dogs up in P1, and the orange McLaren will make his way around the next sweeping bend, and he is bound to be happy with that. V Provenza, his teammate here this season is Chiofino, who at the moment I don't think is in this race. There's only one driver in the McLaren team here today. So no doubt he'll be looking to stamp his authority here upon these guys here on this circuit. So no doubt we'll certainly be seeing some incredible things here from some of these cars. As we look further down the grid, just having a look now, Pit F1's there. He's out on a lap, disconnecting. Now this man I had a little chat to just before the race. Just looking at it, the Renault driver just letting a few through at the moment. He's on his out lap. Let's just keep following him for a minute, because obviously he's still yet to follow or at least put in a lap so far. So let's watch him come round now in the French manufacturer Renault. That's a very tricky left-hander, that one. You've got to be really careful as you make your way around, because it's almost like a little pit in the left-hand side. So you've got to be really careful on under braking and on the power, because if you do too much, you're in danger of not only oversteer, but also understeer. So be sure to be cautious on those brake and power differentials as he makes his way around the sweeping left hand. He is just making his way around the Victory Grandstand, I believe, as he wants to be very careful though, and you're coming towards the latter stages of this Grand Prix, of this lap, sorry, and he'll soon be starting his flying lap. You can just see Matthew Clip there in front of him there, who's in P3 at the moment, the Toro Rosso driver, or the Raging Bull as I like to call him, and the Renault is just about to come across the line now to commence the flying lap. So let's follow disconnected now in the yellow Renault as he makes his way down. You'll have the turn 1 grandstand to the right of him as he does so. Brakes, you want to brake around about the 100-metre mark as he makes his way round. He's caught the curb, and that's unfortunate, and that's not going to help. This is, well, absolutely unreal, but we're into the 10-minute sector. He's still got time. I mean, if you can conserve the ERS, he can still put out another lap before the end of play. Just looking further up the grid, we're looking here at a Racing Point here, who is now out on a fast lap. So we'll keep an eye on this man, RSF1 Noku. We'll keep an eye on him as he makes his way around. Obviously, we don't know a lot about these drivers at the moment, but obviously very excited to see what they can do. We'll just keep an eye on him as he makes his way towards this little tricky right-hander, almost a 90-degree angle bend. You've got to be really careful as you make your way around. Oh, I tell you what, the track conditions here, these guys are really struggling with the grip. And he's making his way around this left-hand side. Oh, very, very, very well done there around that real slick bend. Makes his way down towards the back straight. Now, you want to be careful again under braking. Want to be, again, around the 100-metre mark. And he does it just after, but he controls the car extremely well. A good exit as well off that bend. Makes his way around. He'll have a sweeping right-hander to do. This time, by the looks of it, he's on the medium tyre. For some reason, it's saying on my telemetry he's on the hards. But the dark champion for Ferrari in P2 with a 1:28.506. The prancing horses coming into play, and his teammate Marco Lomi still yet to come out to file his first lap as we watch the Racing Point come round the final corner. What's it going to be here for the Pink Panthers as he makes his way down over the DRS line, and he posts a speed 2 of a 1:28.476. The McLaren driver can't be touched. That's not going to stop Racing Point. P2 for RSF1 Noku. What racing is so far in qualifying. I tell you what, if this is anything like we're going to see in the race, we're in for a real treat here, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sure these guys will give us something to really scream and shout about. Just looking further down the grid at the moment, obviously we've got to look at some of the guys that have yet to post a time. Just looking further back, I think Disconnected is finally on his fast lap. He's in Sector 1. Let's hope we can. Let's hope we don't get a spin out on this occasion. He makes his way through the winding corners, and he's taking it extremely cautiously, coming round towards the very sharp right-hander. Wants to be very careful again under braking. You don't want to catch yourself out as you make your way around, and as he does so, he'll come up towards the semi-straight. In front of him, as Sem notches together a 1:27.992, he kicks the McLaren off top spot and sticks the other British contingent of Williams on P1. A great bit of driving from him to secure that 1:27.992. I'm sure he'd be delighted with that as we watch the Renault driver make his way around the sweeping left-hander, and surely he's going to be looking to stamp his authority on this lot as they make their way around now towards, well, they'll be going past the Victory Grandstand, heading towards the Victory Grandstand will be just ahead of him now. You can just see them on the left-hand side. The two stands on the left, as you can see, does look very secure with just that little bit of scaffolding as he makes his way round the last corner, and very smoothly does it as he makes his way towards the home straight now, and it's 1:28, 1:29, and that's going to be a 1:29.728, and the Renault will park himself on P14 for the time being. We are now into the, well into the 6-minute mark now, just under 7 minutes, should I say, and very soon it will be squeaky bum time. We'll be seeing these drivers really pull out all the stops to try and stamp their authority on this qualifying session. Seb still has the advantage though. He's currently sitting on P1 at the moment. I'm sure he's very happy with that. We're on board with him right now. Just looking at him, he hasn't dented that ERS just yet, so whether he'll be looking to come in on this lap just to see what the other drivers can do, I am not sure, as he makes his way around that final bend on the medium tyre as he enters the straight. Marco Lomi, incidentally, on his out lap at this moment in time. Just looking further down, I can see that Troger is currently on a fast lap as well, so we'll keep an eye on him as he makes his way around, coming towards the final bend as well. So will he manage to improve on that original time? This looks reasonably quick as he makes his way around the final bend. He's really used up that ERS, and he's about to punch the DRS and come up to the line. What's it going to be? It's P3! He goes one better and knocks his teammate RSF1 Noku down to P4. An excellent lap from him. You'll be happy with that. He is in the top 3 spots, and on the second row of the grid. He has got to be delighted with that here at the sands of Bahrain. So let's see what he can do in the race. We are now coming down towards the final 5 minutes of qualifying. Squeaky bum time is well and truly nearly upon us. Just looking further down the grid, I believe that Silva is also out on a fast lap. And he certainly is, just making his way around that tricky left-hander at the bottom of the circuit. And he is coming down now on the back straight here. And he'll soon be faced with the sweeping left-hander, which you've got to really be careful with as he comes past the Belletico grandstand. And very, very smooth on the exit now, and wants to make his way around. Really, really careful. Heading round now towards the next right-hand bend. Smoothly as she goes. And the Red Bull looks like he's not going to be posting a fast lap on this occasion. Maybe just warming up the car, ready to post one now very shortly. He's going to have to make use of the last 4.5 minutes of time here. So it'll be interesting to see whether these drivers can pull out some last-minute Some last-minute shockers of times here. Can we upset the 127.992 from Seb? It's all remained to be seen here at Race Spec. I'm sure these guys will give us a show as he makes his way around. The Red Bull driver coasting around these bends. He's got the DRS mode on, the DRS fired up as he makes his way around the next right-hand bend. He'll soon have to deal with the snake section of the circuit. Now, you've got to be really careful. If you lose traction, you're in real trouble as he makes his way around. Try not to touch too much of the curb, because if you do, your traction will slip underneath you and you'll end up oversteering or understeering, and that's certainly not what you want, certainly around a track like this, because believe it or not, at Bahrain, I know this may apply more to the real sands of F1, but the sands that you find on the edge of the track, they can blow over into the track circuit itself, and it actually can cause you to slide all over the circuit. It can make it that extra slick, so you've got to be really, really careful. Just looking at this Red Bull now, he is really doing well, Silver, tackling these bends really, really, really carefully, but nevertheless, still as efficient as any other quick driver as he makes his way around this right-hand part of the circuit, coming up towards the straight. This will be the last straight before the main straight, which is where he'll be crossing the line to post his time as he makes his way around. This looks reasonably quick too. Is this Red Bull going to give him wings as he comes around the final sector? Will he do it as he comes across the DRS line? Is he going to post an even faster time? And he does so! P6 for Silver! A 128.303! The medium tyres have really come into play for him, and I'm sure he'd be delighted with that. As we look further down, there's a Mercedes driver at the moment, Tucono, who's out on his fast lap as well. Now, he's decided to opt for the medium tyre. Can this improve his prospects from P12 and try and make a statement? As you can see, Silver has retired from the session. He is happy with P6, and he must be, because that was an incredible improvement on his previous lap time. Just following the silver arrows now of Tucono. What's he going to post on the mediums as he makes his way down this short little straight, heading down towards the final bend before we reach we're coming towards the end of the qualifying session here as the Silver Arrows comes across the DRS line. The yellow flags are flying, but what's the Silver Arrows going to post here today? It is P3 with a 128.078. Didn't I tell you? Shocks at the end of qualifying. It was lived to be expected, and the Silver Arrows has stuck himself on the second row of the grid here. Tell you what, the Mercedes cap must be going balmy. He's got to be proud with that. Out on the mediums. First time of asking. Picks up P3. He is really eating his cake and recycled the box. Just looking further down, Marco Lomi, so yet to feel the time. Now, I've got a feeling this guy is waiting to pull off a real shocker. As he's about to commence his outlap, I think we're going to follow him, see what he can post here now in the dire straits of qualifying, because now we are down to the 1.5 minutes remaining here in this session as he makes his way down. Very careful under braking. Wants to get a nice exit here, and he's got the DRS about to load up here. Any second now he will punch it. Yes, he does. Making his way down the straight here. He's got another sweeping right-hander. Wants to be very careful. Brake just at the 100-meter mark, and as he does so, the prancing red horse of the Ferrari making his way now towards the winding circuit section, the snaking bends that can really catch you out. Be very, very careful on the power. Makes his way around now towards the next right-hand bend. He brakes very, very sensibly now, back on the power, very carefully, nicely, and easily does it, he says. Makes his way down on the straight, heading down towards the next tricky left-hander. You catch that dip, you're in trouble, but he's negotiated it perfectly. He comes out on the straight now, and he'll be heading under the DHL banner and soon be tackling this sweeping left-hand bend. He just brakes just after the 100 and puts enough power on the car. Short shifts up to 4, up to 5th, up to 6, and sweeps around this right-hand bend now, which can really push you out, so be very careful on that turn as he coasts over, just brushes that curb there on the right-hand side, just perfectly done. As he makes his way down the straight here, he'll have one more corner to judge before he tackles the home straight. This is looking reasonably good, but I just realised this is the outlap, so this isn't going to do any good. So this will be the time. What timing this is, because he's only got 10 seconds left of qualifying, and he's about to go and start his fast lap. And here we go. Let's stay with him, folks. I got excited over the outlap. That's incredible. But he's not doing it. He's not doing it. Shock horror here. I think he must have been validated or something, but what it does mean is that I don't think he'll be able to post a fast lap, which is a real shame. I'm just looking further around the circuit, see if anyone else is in the midst of a fast lap. That's a real shame. Seeing that, he might have done because he's in P11, so he might have indeed posted a time. Sorry there, I think my telemetry had a bit of a funny. But we're just following now Troger, who is currently on his I believe, penultimate lap here before the end of the session. We're now into extra time here, ladies and gentlemen, with 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. The Racing Point, the Pink Panther, making his way around the sweeping right-hand bend. Is he going to be able to improve on his recent time as he makes his way around? He's got one more straight ahead of him before he really commences. Onto the home straight. You'll have the one last bend to deal with. I can see the yellow flags around. There you go, green. It's all safe, all clear here at Bahrain as he makes his way around towards the home straight here. The yellow flags are there. It looks like the pit, but he's going in the pits, and that's it. So Seb, it looks like based on this form, will get P1 as Alangozi. It makes his way towards the home straight, but he's slowing down as well. So looking at it, I think this is how it's going to fare, folks. Unless someone's got a surprise up their sleeve. The Dark Champion coming round. I don't think he's fielding a lap. Mark Alomi, none from him. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That looks like to be the grid order for the race now. Absolute scenes here. So Williams have got the advantage here at Bahrain for the race. So we're going to be in for a real treat here, ladies and gentlemen, as we make our way into the latter stages here of the qualifying session. Any minute, these guys will be retiring their cars. And we'll soon be getting into the nitty-gritty that is the race here at Race Spec Esports. Very much looking forward to commentating on my first race here for this league. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring this to you. And I've got to say, I hope you're all enjoying the stream. If you want to add any comments, I will read them out. Just having a look through a few of them now. Incredible. Sorry, my phone is bugging with the keyboard, plus I'm in class. Brilliant. Just looking through. Joseph, great to see you, buddy. Lupo F1, man, you're an absolutely fantastic as commentator. Thank you very much, Lupo. Very much appreciated. Just looking through. Joseph, you've been busy on this, mate. Top guys probably do one, especially with medium for starting. So we're looking. It's looking like a one-stop strategy is the main order of the day here. Obviously on the medium tyres, which tends to be the main tyre choice. So it's interesting that quite a few of the guys have gone for the soft. So let's see how the tyre strategies work here in this race. It's going to be interesting. We've got Jamie the Blaster saying, "Go, Lucas Gambarini." Let's hope he can do it for Renault. And Fat OLX CM Games, "Go Williams," he says. Well, Williams are currently on pole for you, my friend. And we'll go through the classifications now. P1 is Seb. They're the Romanian driver there for Williams. The Hungarian of Angelosi there in the Alfa Romeo in P2. Antucono, the Silver Arrows, P3. V Provenza, the Italiano, P4 for McLaren. P5, Racing Point Troga for Hungary. Marco NCBP for Germany. In P6 for Haas. In P7, RSF1 Noku for Racing Point. P8, Silver for Red Bull Racing. They're in P9, the Dark Champion for Ferrari. P10, Lucas Gambarini for Renault. P11, Matthew Clip there for Toro Rosso. P12, Marco Lomi for Ferrari. P13, Disconnected for Renault. Sorry there, but we got cut out towards the end. But I'm sure we'll go through the grid order as we go into... I've just been told I've got to unmute my game audio. I do apologise, guys. I take it you can only hear me. I do apologise. I will bring that to you at very, very shortly. Won't be a second, guys. I don't know why the game audio isn't capturing, because I have got the game capture on, which is a bit weird. But I'll bring on the desktop audio just in case anyway. Hopefully this will help. As they're about to start the formation lap here at Bahrain. That's good timing, that, to be fair. And we're just watching them as they warm up their tyres. This is the prime opportunity for these guys to warm up the tyres. Just to say, if you guys can hear the actual sound here, I'm going to actually try and listen to it myself, so bear with me. Oh, it seems to be working, so there we go. We'll take that all day long. As they make their way around. Seb, of course, in P1. We'll just go through the grid order, because obviously we got a little bit to the point where we couldn't actually do it. So Seb is currently in P1. We've got Angelosi there in P2. I am Tucono in P3. And we'll rush through the order there. V Provenza P4, Troger in P5, Marco NC P6, RSF1 Noku in P7, Silver in P8. The Dark Champion, in fact, these two must have had a coming together because they are off the track. I'm just going to quickly, just before we start, guys, just going to bring up my track maps. There we go, just so I can see what's going on here. There we go. Lucas Gambarini there in P10. Just looking further down. Matthew Clip, P11. Marco Lomi, P12. Disconnected, P13. Cabby in P14. Gabo Master in P15. And Pitt in P16 for Williams. So Williams at both ends of the circuit here. Whether that's a tactic, we don't know. Could well be. An interesting one, to say the least, as we follow Seb as he makes his way down towards the start here on the main straight. You'll have one more corner to tackle before we really get going. We're just going to show up the tyre strategies there, ladies and gentlemen, just so you guys can see what is going on here in terms of pit stops as they make their way down. Seb leading the way, and it's looking like it's going to be... Can the drivers behind upset Williams here in this race? It still remains to be seen. Post your comments in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to head out for the off here at Bahrain, as they line up into their grid positions. Just read out a few comments here before we get this race underway. S&M AP, Seb, best driver here. Fat O Alex, CMN Games, lots of smiley faces. Joseph, hey Spirit, can I connect to anyone from this league or maybe join? Vicious Void, hi Mum, I'm on TV. Hi Mum. Experience Joseph, do you have Discord or looking to join the league? Joseph, yeah mate, it's Shocko361. There you go. That's your little spicy bit of this now as the lights are about to go red here. First light, second light, third light, fourth light, the fifth light. And it's pedal to the metal. Go, 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 go. And Seb gets away first in P2. Angelosi for the Alfa Romeo. The Silver Arrows of IM2 Kono. They're in P3, but we got the McLaren sneaking up there. V Provenza as they make their way around turn 1. Seb getting a good start. And he draws clear. IM2 Kono moves up into P2. A great start from him to move up 1. Angelosi drops back 1. Lots of drama down the back. Matthew Clipper has been dropped back and he's off the circuit. That's really unfortunate. Hits the F10 banner, and Lucas Gambarini has had a bit of an incident too, and Pitt has moved up 2 places. Absolute scenes in the side of this Grand Prix as the Alfa Romeo Cabby goes out wide. It looks like he's paying the price, but no, he manages to keep it on track, but he has got front wing damage, which is really unfortunate, and that will cost him going into this race. But we're just looking further up the grid now, because Seb is leading the way here for Williams, looking in P2. IM2 Kono in the Mercedes. Further back, Angelosi for Alfa Romeo P3. V Provenza P4, Marco NC in P5, being closely tracked here by Silver in the Red Bull, the raging bull of the Red Bull, right in behind there, the Toro, behind the Haas driver. Sorry, Marco NC, there's quite a gap there, and Cabby, who's had a move there on the Dark Champion, has moved up to P7, Noku P9. We got lots of jumping and changing here as the Racing Point swoops on. Disconnected here is giving us a bit of a trip here, because he's gone in front of the Racing Points. The Racing Points, after a prosaic qualifying session, have dropped down to P10 and P11. Really unfortunate from these guys, and Disconnected pouncing on the opportunity as Seb maps out the first lap of the race already. So we're into lap 2 of 29. They make their way down. Just looking further up, Silver has overtaken Marco NC. A great move from him. He's now in P5. So great work from the Red Bull driver to do what he did there. As Cabby moves up there, and they got a battle here because the prancing horse and the Ferrari's not letting him down easy. But Cabby takes P7 and moves ahead of the Ferrari there. Drops down to P8. So and Disconnected, he's still under pressure there from the Racing Points. It's not going to be an easy one for him. They're not going to let him get away with it as they get through the latter of the first sector here in lap 2. And just looking here, the Haas driver in close quarters as well of Silver. He's not going to shake him away too easily as they make their way down. Marco has incidentally dropped down a little bit. He's on the soft tyre. It's interesting to see that the medium tyre choice is currently lying in P1 to P5. So the soft tyre is not really having much of an impetus here in the early stages of this race. Just looking further up, IM2 Kono really trying to put the pressure here on Seb. Let's ride on board with him as he comes round the sweeping right-hand bend here, and he's got yet another right-hander to deal with now because the Williams is currently having to really fight tooth and nail to maintain the P1 here earlier in the race. Silver Arrows using that ERS very conservatively there, really trying to strike his strike upon the Williams of Seb, who is doing extremely well to hold on. to P1. As we come across the line now, it'll soon start lap 3, which means the DRS will become active as Seb sets the fastest lap in the race so far with a 1:32.1, and I'm sure he'll be pleased with that as they make their way around towards the first bend here. That Silver Arrow is getting really close into the back of that Williams. Surely it's only a matter of time before he opens up the DRS, and as a go here on the Williams driver, Seb is going to have to pull out all the stops here to keep this man back. And looking back, the Dark Champion is having a little bit of a go here because he's got into P7, and looking further back, there has been some chopping and changing as we look down. Cabby in P8, and he's been overtaken by the Dark Champion like we said, but he's going toe to toe, and a little wheel bash there at the front, and the wing nearly copping it there for the Ferrari. The prancing horse under pressure, and the Alfa Romeo had just swooped in and taken P7 right from under his feet as the Ferrari has another go on the inside of the racing point as well. These three, going hammer and tongs here, and there's a bit of a glitch, and I think there's been an issue because the Ferrari has dropped behind the racing point. RSF1 Noku has taken P8, phenomenal, and he'll have the DRS on the Alpha, and he has to look here on the outside. He's weighing him up. What's it going to be? It's going to be the racing point here as they made their way around this bend, the left-hand bend, and he's done it. He's taken P7. Unbelievable racing there. The racing point in this lap alone jumps up 2 spaces and starts to reclaim the positions he lost earlier on in this race after qualifying. As we look further up the grid, there's a gap being closed very harshly between Disconnected and the Ferrari. The Dark Champion really in trouble here because Disconnected is vying on his gearbox right now as they make their way around into this right-hand bend. They'll be heading up towards yes, another straight very shortly, and as they do, it is the home straight. The DRS becomes open now, and the Ferrari is really starting to come into view here of the Renault. I'm sure he's got him right in the visor. You can probably see his reflection as they make their way down to Oh my God! Oh my God, what a bash there, the Renault! Nearly copping it out. I'd be surprised if he's still got a front wing after that one. Just looking behind him now, the racing point has come upon him, and the Ferrari of the Dark Champion has dropped down to P11 after that little bit of a bash, and unfortunately has really paid the price on that one as the racing point had a little look down, Disconnected there. And it's not been the Dark Champions race as Gabo Master drops down to P16. It's been drama after drama here at Bahrain. The sandy circuit really, well, you've got to be really careful around this circuit because you can lose traction extremely easily as they make their way down towards this tricky left-hander, and Disconnected now draws out, well, he's just within a second now, or just over a second behind Cabby in the Alfa Romeo. As we look further up the circuit, we've got a close quarter battle here between Ps 1, 2 and 3 because Seb has been overtaken by IM2 Kono. I don't know how he missed that, ladies and gentlemen, but obviously the drama earlier on in the lap from the previous drivers has caused us to miss it. But just to bring it to you, if you've just joined us, Seb has dropped down to P2, and IM2 Kono in the Silver Arrows of the Mercedes is now in P1, but the Williams will have another go here because he's got DRS as he makes his way down, and he'll open up the ERS as well to overtake. Will he have a go here in turn 1? Makes his way down, and surely, no, not this time, but what about the exit? He comes around, he'll have another chance though, because there's DRS here at the turn 3, I believe it is. Yeah, turn 3, and they make their way down towards the next bend, which is turn 4. And he'll have a go here on the inside of the Mercedes, makes his way around. Has he got the better traction? There's wheel bash in there, and the Mercedes goes out wide, but he maintains it. But it looks like the Williams has jumped him here at the snaking bends, and he's done it. P1 for Seb. It's going backwards and forwards like a yo-yo right now, and the Williams driver has retaken P1. What racing here from these two. Such a spectacle that we were expecting, and it's a pleasure to bring it here to you on Spec Esports, the YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already, because we're going to see many more of these right through the season as we look further down in this race. Disconnected, vying up on that Alfa Romeo. These two have been in a close quarter battle, and that second time gap has been thwarted, and Disconnected lunges down the inside. The Alfa Romeo with the undercut bashes the Renault off into the outer layers of the track, and that means the Cabby holds his position in P9 as they come up towards the sweeping left-hander. And amazing battling from these two. Though you've got to say, some of that tapping has got to be considered interesting in the stewards' room. I'm sure that'll be discussed later on in the race as we make their way around the circuit now. The Alfa Romeo going really wide, and certainly the Williams as they make their way around now towards the straight before the home straight. It certainly is a race to watch as they make their way down now. We're following the Renault of Disconnected. Cabby is just in front of him in the Alfa. And certainly these two will be battling hammer and tongs now as they make their way down to the straight here at the Bahrain circuit. And the Renault has a go now, down the outside. Is it going to, well, the inside, I suppose. They make their way down. You see the paddock right next to them there. And the Renault, the blazing yellow of the Renault, makes his way around. Is he going to make it happen? As they make their way around, the Alfa Romeo gets the better of him. But how long will it last? Because they got DRS here at this part of the circuit. The Renault goes off, and the dark champion moves up into P10, P11 for pit. And so the Renault there drops down to P12. His teammate only 2 seconds behind him, Lucas Gambarini, currently in P13. We're just looking further up the grid. And Pitt, who was at the back of the grid, has moved his way up to P10. A very prosaic rise there from the Williams driver, who's now tracking Cabby. Cabby, unfortunately, can't catch a break at the moment. He's being swarmed around by drivers, and he's really got a battle in store here as they make their way around the tricky left-hander. And as they do so, you can see there, he actually got a pretty good exit there, did Pitt, and he's winding up on Cabby now, the Alfa Romeo driver. The DRS is now open on Pitt. The Williams drivers made their way around the sweeper left-hander. He swallows a lot of the curb, and that is a 3-second time penalty for that incident, and he swallows a bit too much curb again. Could have easily got some wheel spin and spun off at that point, but fortunately for him, that didn't happen as they make their way around this swooping right-hand bend, and he'll be vying up on Cabby now, and he's using the slipstream, and he's managed to get alongside him. Cabby moving him well out wide, a lot of pushing going on there as he come up towards the final bend. What's he going to be as they make their way round? And he's not going to be able to make it happen. The Alfa Romeo increases the gap a little more and retains that P9. He is not losing it here today as they make their way down the straight. Incidentally, Troger, we missed that one. Troger has moved ahead there. I believe there might be a pit stop for Marco NC, which allows Troger to move up into P7. So great for him in order to take that back for the Racing Point team. Just looking further up, Amin Koda must have had an issue as well because he's on 6-lap medium, so he can't have pitted, and he's dropped down to P5. So Seb has managed to retain P1, and Angiolozzi, who's only 0.4 of a second behind him, currently lies in P2. So we've got very close quarter action here, guys, because the first 4 drivers, Seb, Angiolozzi, and VI Provenza and Silva, are all within a very, very comfy 2-second gap between each other. So it's all happening here, folks, as they open up the DRS here on the straight. Angiolozzi swarming all over the back of the Williams, but that's not his only problem because the V Provenza is really having a look down either side of that Alfa. He's not letting him go as they come round the sweeping right-hander. They got a couple of real tricky corners to deal with here as they make their way around towards the straight, leading towards the home straight. And there's lots going on here, folks. Interestingly enough, you can post in the comments if you're enjoying the race. Please give your tips as to who you think is really going to pull out all the stops out as they make their way around now. And Yellozy under pressure here as they make their way around. And V Provenza was having a look down the inside, I think. And it's not going to be over for him yet because he'll have DRS heading down towards the straight. And so does Yellozy. But Seb shuts the door and makes their way down towards turn 1. What's it going to be as they take the corner? The Alfa Romeo going the long way round. And I think he's done it. No, he hasn't. Not quite. And the DRS has become available now for the Alfa Romeo as they make their way down. V Provenza in close quarter with him. Looking further down, Silver in P4. I am Tucono in P5. There's lots of change-ups here. Looking further down the circuit. Sorry. Just looking down now. Pitt and Cabby. Pitt is nearly moving up to P7. Williams having a phenomenal race so far. They got a man up in P1, and Pitt has moved down from the bottom of the grid to move up into P7. And Cabby having another look down, sticking his nose in between the corner and that Williams. They're on lap 8 here of 29, so plenty of racing left. And plenty of time for some thrills and spills, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I really hope you're enjoying your evening here tonight. I hope you're enjoying the coverage here of the Spec Esports race here at Bahrain here. And it certainly is going to be one to cherish. Incidentally, if you want to know some further track facts, this circuit is 5.412 kilometres long. That's 3.363 miles long. So a reasonably length of circuit. I mean, I've got to say, they tend to be around about the 3.5 mile mark as they make their way down now towards this next swooping corner. Looking further down, Silver and V Provenza having a look down the outside of that Alfa Romeo, and it looks like he might have the measure of him here, and he has DRS as well, so it looks like the Alfa's in trouble. Angiolozzi having to fight these guys off, and incidentally Silver coming into play only 0.06 seconds behind as they make their way down towards turn 1, and that McLaren is going to make a bold move this time. No, he's not today. The Alfa Romeo holding fast there in P2 as they make their way around towards the next straight. And Angiolosi has managed to increase his gap to 0.5 of a second now, incidentally, so he'd be pleased with that. As these silver arrows of IM2 Kono moves up to P4, tackling Silver there on that straight and taking him round the bend. And these two aren't over yet because Silver has managed to retake the place back. These two having a fascinating battle here. It's like the old battles between Verstappen and Hamilton. Those two never let anything lie in, neither of these. Silver is steadily in P4, IM2 Kono in P5 as they make their way down towards the next sweeping part of the circuit, which is like a left-hander, which you've got to judge with extreme care as they make their way around. And it looks like the Mercedes will have the DRS here. Oh, sorry guys, I've just lost sight of the game there. I do apologise, pressed something I shouldn't have done. Sorry about that. That's excitement for you as they make their way around the circuit. We've got it back now. Do apologise. We're just following now. Pitt is retired as well. We've lost Pitt. Lots of choppy action here. Sorry, wrong key there. Just looking down. Pitt, unfortunately, we lost him there around the circuit. Just following Marco. Let me just see if we can see Pitt coming around the bend there. Yeah, you can see the Williams there. Certainly lost the tyre. That's the problem. Just looking further there. Disconnected there in P9. He's only about 1/10 of a second behind the Ferrari of the Dark Champion. He's been fighting it with the Dark Champion pretty much all race. And Seb has dropped down to P2 because of a battle here between him and Angiolosi, as Angiolosi goes for the long way around the outside. I think he will net P1, and he does so. But it looks like Seb is going to get it back here with the DRS, and he does so. Goes around the outside. A great move there from the Williams driver as they head through the next game. And then looking now, it's a message here from Fato Alex. Well, Marco just turned into me. Like I said, I think we're going to see a lot of stewards conversations here in this race as we look down. Seb in P1 now, maintaining the way. He's now a second ahead, just looking further down at this stage. So we'll have a look. We'll have a look further down. We'll have a little look down at Marco Lomi. He's just exited the pit. I'm guessing after the damage he sustained with Pitt. My guess is that he had to have a new front wing. Or another driver. I can't see who it was that got involved with Pitt. But disconnected, incidentally having a battle of his own here against the Dark Champion. As they make their way towards the next part of the circuit. It's a bit almost like that sweeping, difficult left-hander. And another Renault behind him. And disconnected is really not having it. And the Toro Rosso of Matthew Klipp is pretty much managing that 8/10 gap at the moment as they make their way around the sweeping left-hander. And that Renault having a look down the outside of the Ferrari there. And if he's not careful, disconnect is going to get him as he has a look down the outside. He is all over the back of the Ferrari and spins out! He spins out, he's trying to control the car. Luckily enough, he misses the barrier. And unfortunately, that means that Marco NC moves up into P11. Incidentally, looking at the tyre lengths at the moment, IM2 Kono is maintaining P6 at the moment. He's on the hard tyres. He's just exiting the pits now. And surely looking to control the race on a one-stop strategy. So he's going to try and do it on the hards. Interestingly enough, will that work for the Mercedes driver? Will that mean he can take P1 towards the end of the race? We are in lap 11 of 29 here. Seb still currently controlling the race. Ahead of him, half a second behind, is Silver, who unbelievably has managed to move up into P2. Phenomenal work for him. V Provenza down to P3. Angiolosi has moved to P4. So we've had a real switcheroo here. Troger has moved into P5, and he's about 12 seconds clear of IM2 Kono on 10 lap old mediums. Making his way down towards the next sweeping left-hand bend, the tricky one. And makes his way down there now. Just looking further up the grid, it looks like the closest battle we've got is between V Provenza and Silver, and obviously Seb. The top three really going hammer and tongs at the moment, and looking to really stamp their authority on this race. They make their way around towards the next part of the circuit, which is the straight before the final bend. And we could yet see some more overtakes here on the home straight. Incidentally, Matthew Klipp going close to Cabby at the moment. He's only half a second behind Cabby at this stage. But we're keeping it with these three at the moment because they're on the home straight. And that McLaren, and they're all three coming in the pits. All three in the pits. So what does this mean now? Because Angiolosi is now on his own in P1. Looking back, Troger, could he get into P2? If he can beat these guys in the pits, he makes his way down. It looks like he will. So Troger, on the 11 lap all mediums, moves into P2. Seb and Silver and V Provenza will come out as they were in P3, 4 and 5. Seb, incidentally, I think loses out in the pits and drops down to P5. So that's a real shame for him. Just seeing messages here. Todd Butcher, evening George, hope you're well. Todd, I am very well, thank you. Bringing live coverage here of of Spec Esports here on the channel here. Be sure to drop a subscribe if you haven't already. So looking back, Matthew Clip and Cabby having a real battle here. The Toro Rosso and the Alpha going at it like nobody's business. Lucas Gambarini overtaking Disconnected, who's gone into the pits for a wing change and to move on to the hard. So we've got at least 6 drivers, well more than that, 10 drivers on the hards. So unbelievable. Most of them favouring the one-stop strategy. Lots of them still yet to pit. Whether they're going to last on the mediums and then move on to the softs might be the answer here amongst all this madness. As Matthew Clip moves up into P7, Marco Lomi and Disconnected. Disconnected after being in the pits has dropped down to P14. Marco Lomi up to P13 to see Ferraris in P12 and 13. And looking further up the grid, the Williams contingent down to 1 car, of course, because Seb is in P5, currently on the fresh hards, also looking to do a one-stop strategy. And he is now chasing the tail of V Provenza and Silver. So these three, Silver currently just under 10 seconds behind Troger, more like 9 seconds really. And it'd be interesting to see how penalties affect the outcome of this race, because there's been loads of incidents here in this race already. Just looking further down, Noku is having a little battle here with Cabby here in the Alfa Romeo, so it's not over between these two as they make their way around. And Troger, I think we've had an incident here where Troger's in the pits, so Silver is now in the net lead of the race, and Troger and Noko has made it into P7 and has overtaken Cabby, who'll be looking to take back his position almost instantly. It dives on the inside, and that was aggressive, and he comes off the track at the racing point, moves up to P7, and manages to hold his composure and take that P7 away from Cabby, who I must say, that was a dangerous move there going into turn 1. And the stewards, I'm sure, will be looking into that as well. As we look up the grid, V Provenza in P2. Just looking further down, Matthew Clip getting turned over for P6, and Matthew Clip moves down 1. So Noku currently moving around this track like nobody's business there in the racing point, and really turning up the gas at the moment now, and he's in P6 now, looking to impose his authority on the drivers ahead of him. He's got Angiolosi, IM2 Kono, Seb, V Provenza and Silver ahead of him. Silver obviously the leader of the race, so we've got lots to come here from these cars as they make their way down into they're into the main part of Sector 2 here, making that sweeping left-hand bend, which you've got to judge real careful. Angiolosi is now half a second behind IM2 Kono. Coming down to this last straight before the home straight. We are in lap 13 here of 29. And V Provenza incidentally right on the back of Silver as they make their way down the home straight. And it looks like he's going to have his chance to overtake here. He rides alongside the Red Bull coming down to turn 1. The orange McLaren looking like he's going to take it here. V Provenza takes P1. Can the Red Bull get the comeback? No! The McLaren shuts the door. But will this mean that Silver will get another chance here with the DRS here, coming down towards turn 4, I believe it is. They make their way around. No, not this time. He decides not to go for it, but he's might get the undercut here because he took the corner a little better than V Provenza did. Coming now down towards the snake bend. Looking further back, Seb still in P3. He's in close quarter. And as they make their way down towards this difficult 90-degree right-hander, and V Provenza now in P1 of the race. Incidentally, there's only one driver left on the mediums, and that's Noku, who's on 6-lap old mediums, and will surely be doing a 2-stop. As we look down the latter stages of the circuit, Troger has come out on P8 on the 1-lap old hards. Angiolosi has also come out of the pits on 1-lap old hards as well. He's in P5 and only 0.3 of a second behind IM2 Kono, who is in the silver arrows of the Mercedes. As they make their way around the sweeping right-hander, they got another straight here to deal with before the home straight. And the silver arrows can see in the background the Alfa Romeo starting to loom up of him, of Angiolosi, who has been in close quarter action with these drivers right through this race. They make their way down now towards the home straight. We're just going to ride on board here with the Alfa Romeo as they make their way down. These 5 are right tight, close together, and then there's a gap of around 6.5 seconds to Noko, who is in P6. They make their way down now. Just looking further up the standings here. Silver is trying to come up alongside V Provenza. Is he going to make that daring move? Not this time. As we look down, Angiolosi got nearly 1.6 of a second behind IM2 Kono, but he's got the DRS again. But as understandably, every driver's got the DRS apart from V Provenza amongst these top 4 or top 5, should I say. And looking further down, Troger is probably the other. Troger and Marco is probably the only other battle we've got now, because they're both on hard tyres. Troger on the slightly fresher though. He's got six lap fresher tyres on as they make their way around the snaking bend. And I'm sure these two will come to blows shortly because Marco is starting to verge up here in front of the Racing Point here as they make their way around this tricky right-hander. Is disconnected, picks up another time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's 5 seconds that'll be added on to the end of his race. And the Racing Point now braking very carefully down towards this sweeping left-hander. Very careful under braking and careful on the power as you make your exit here. Down the DRS straight, leading towards the sweeping left-hand bend. And Marco is now starting to come into fruition here for the Racing Point of Troger. Will he take the P7? Not this time as he makes his way around the sweeping bend. You've got to be careful on the power as you make your way around. Very easy to lose traction around here, especially if you hit any of the curb as they make their way around towards the final straight before the home straight here on lap 15. And it's looking like Troger at the moment will have view on Marco. Is he going to use the slipstream here to take him before the end of this corner? Or will he go for the dive bomb? No, not this time. He's going to use the DRS here at the end of this straight. Is he going to make it happen? The DRS begins to load up. The Racing Point punches it. And Troger goes down the outside there. Well, down the inside, sorry, of Marco. And he takes P7, sorry. Takes P7. And the Haas driver will have DRS here as they go around turns 2. Around turns 1 and 2, and he'll soon be entering turn 3, and the DRS will become active again, and this will mean that Marco will get his chance to get his place back as they make their way down towards turn 4. The Haas driver moving up on the Racing Point, heading around this little bend now, and the Racing Point well, it's just drawn clear, absolutely clear as they reach the snaking bends here at the Bahrain circuit. Just looking further up the grid now, V Prevents is still in P1. He's not under too much pressure at the moment from Silver, but nevertheless he's still there. He still has DRS, and as they make their way around the sweeping left-hander, just having a look further down, Silver still occupying P2. He's got Seb just behind him in the Williams, and they're all on they're all on the same length of tyres at the moment. All three of them on 4-lap old hard tyres. And Disconnected has jumped on the softs as well. Bit of a strange tactic because we're in lap 16 of 29. That means he's going to have to do at least 13 laps on those soft tyres if he's to get this round in that stop alone. But that's not going to happen, I don't think. He's probably going to have to make another stop on the soft tyres. Maybe go for the fastest lap as they make their way down the straight. The Red Bull of Silver, verging up on V Provensu, trying to defend it. But it looks like Silver has got him here as they come down towards turn 1. Lots of kerfuffling, and the Williams has gone for it too. Seb on the outside of V Provenza, and he takes P2. V Provenza relegated to P3. So it's Red Bull 1, Williams 2, McLaren 3, and the Alfa Romeo all the way back in P4. Him and IM2 Kona are having a battle of their own. A little bit of a fist fight going on back there because the Williams is taking him in on the outside. Just looking down the silver arrows, not letting him go as they take the snaking bends now. Just got to look further up because I think V Provenza is having another go here as they come around. Seb in his visor right now as they make their way towards the next sweeping left-hand bend. They got a real tricky one to negotiate now. Careful on the power and the braking as you make your way around. Got that nose of the McLaren got very close to the back of that Williams as he opens up the DRS. Seb in real trouble now as the McLaren starts to try and verge up. No, he's not going to do it this time because the DRS that Seb has obtained on the Red Bull has assisted him massively here and defended his P2 as they make their way around the sweeping right-hander. Got to be very careful again on the power. Don't touch the curbs on that inside if you can help it. Makes his way around towards the second to last bend, and he'll have a little bit of a straight now to negotiate here. Can he get a slipstream here on Seb as he makes his way down now towards the last final corner before the home straight? We're in lap 17, going into 18 now of 29, and we're verging on near enough the final 10 laps. We're well past the halfway mark now. As they make their way down, and Seb still maintaining P2. The DRS is open. Will he manage to get Silver? But Silver's got too much of a gap, and he won't be able to close it, but he might be able to get him at the next couple of bends here because DRS will activate once again, as you all know, here at the next straight as they make their way down now. The Williams has opened up the DRS now. He has no ERS left though. He's only got 5%, so that's not going to help as they make their way around the next right-hand bend across towards the snaking section where they'll have to judge each corner with absolute perfection. The Williams having a little look down the inside of the Red Bull, but it's not happening this time. The McLaren verging on the back of the Williams now, and he's having another go. What a switch there! What a switch! I missed that one, but the McLaren has taken him, and they're going side by side. They're going wheel to wheel here as they make their way down towards the next left-hander. Who's going to be braver as they make their way round? Oh, chaos! Absolute chaos! Absolute chaos! The Red Bull taken out by the Williams of Seb, and that's brought the other drivers into play. That brings Agiolosi back, IM2 Kono, and not to mention phenomenally. Silver dropped back. He has really paid the ultimate price for that really foolish move around that left-hander, and that's really upset his race. And Seb has now taken P1 and is back to where it was at the start of the race. IM2 Kono back into P2, Angiolosi in P3. There's going to be some real words after this race when the stewards get involved. It's going to be absolute scenes here at Bahrain, and I've got to say, I cannot believe my eyes as they make their way around towards the part of Sector 3 at the last stage of Sector 3 as they go over the straight here, over the racing line. And Angiolosi and IM2 Kono going toe-to-toe here, down towards turn 1. Angiolosi getting the better of him, though. The Alfa Romeo getting the better of the Silver Arrows, of the Mercedes. Just looking further down, V Provenza and Silver battling it out as well, and it looks like the Red Bull looking to reclaim his position here after that grueling upset that he had earlier on as they make their way down towards the snaking part of the circuit. V Provenza there, Lucas Gambrini having a look down the inside of Marco, but Marco just exiting the pit, so it must have been a pit manoeuvre. Just looking further down, Silver in P5 though for the Red Bull, in P5 at the moment, like we said. V Provenza P4, closing down on the Silver Arrows by IM2 Kono, who's in P3 on the hard tyres. We got a choice of 5 drivers that can win this race, subject to penalties at the moment, and as they enter the next of the DRS zones, and Angiolosi surely will have a chance to have a go at Seb on the DRS straight as they make their way around the sweeping left-hander. He doesn't get him this time. IM2 Kono is over 7/10 back here in P3. V Provenza in P4. They're in lap 19 of 29. We're into the final 10 lap mark here at Bahrain. It's all to play for, ladies and gentlemen, as they make their way around, and that Alfa Romeo of Angiolosi all over Seb as they make a move here on the outside. They're going to go down to the final corner here, toe-to-toe here, and the Williams has got the advantage as he comes by. The Alfa Romeo, is he going to go for the cutback? Surely he'll have DRS going into the straight as he makes his way around. He has the slipstream, he opens it up, the back flaps open, overtake mode in procedure, makes his way down towards the first corner, and it looks like the Alfa's got him. Angiolosi going for the throw here, and he takes it. The Alfa Romeo in P1, Seb drops down to P2, V Provenza in P3. These drivers can't escape each other right now, and it's been absolutely enthralling this race as we run into lap 20 of 29. 9 laps left to go, ladies and gentlemen. It's all to play for. Let's hear your comments in the chat. Raise your support for your drivers currently that we're showing on the race. Plenty to offer here at Race Spec here, Race Spec Esports, sorry, here on YouTube. Please subscribe, like I keep saying, if you haven't already. Angiolosi still holding fire though in P1. In behind him, Seb in P2, only 5/10 away from the leader. 2/10, which is even closer back, is V Provenza just behind Seb as they make their way down towards the back straight, and there very could well be another overtake here as Seb starts to move in on the Alfa Romeo. He's not going to let Angiolosi go here as they make their way around the sweeping left-hander. And it looks like Angiolosi is maintaining that 0.5, well, that 5/10 of a second gap ahead of the Williams. Looking further down, the McLaren of V Provenza in P3. He's only 1/10 behind the Williams as they make their way down towards the final corner. Seb maintaining it as he makes his way around, and surely that means V Provenza will have the DRS heading onto the home straight. Will he also have the benefit of the slipstream as well as they make their way down? Is Seb in trouble here as they come down past the main paddock? And it looks like the McLaren is going to have a go here. Seb is in real trouble. The McLaren going for gold here, round the first corner, and the McLaren does it. He takes it. V Provenza moves into P2, and that relegates Seb down to P3. Phenomenal driving from these two, but this time Seb will have the DRS. He's going to try and use the slipstream here on the McLaren. As we look down here, the Williams going for the inside. Is he going to get him here? He got a better exit than what the McLaren did. They're going to go toe-to-toe here round the snaky bends, but not this time. The McLaren gets it and maintains P2. Phenomenal racing, and in all that, Angiolosi has managed to increase his gap by nearly a second ahead of V Provenza. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been really enthralling. Just looking further down, Silver in the Red Bull, only 2/10 of a second behind the Williams of Seb, who is currently a sitting duck in his eyes at the moment as they make their way down the back straight now. We're just going to open on the onboard camera and just view Seb weaving all over the track to try and shake off the Red Bull driver as they make their way towards the next left-hand bend. They're all 4 of them are on 9 lap, well, one of them's on 8 lap old hard, so Angiolosi has got the better tyres by a lap in terms of conditioning. But Seb still maintaining P3 at the moment. Silver currently just over a tenth behind him at the moment, and he will have a chance here to overtake him if he can get the slipstream to work. Doesn't look like he will, because Seb cuts in on the inside to defend, but it looks like the Red Bull might get the undercut here as they make their way down towards the DRS section of the straight, and he opens it up, and he will power through. The Williams in real trouble here because the Red Bull, he's going to get wings, and he makes it into P3 as they make their way down to turn 1, and it's the Red Bull of Silver that moves into P3. Angiolozzi maintains P1, but V Preventer is in P2, and he's not letting him go without a fight. Just looking further down the grid, Troger and Noku have been battling it out. Looks like Noku's come into the pits as well. We haven't really seen much from the back end of the grid. All the action has been up the front here, really. I am 2 Kono, only 3/10 off Seb. Seb, only 3/10 off Silver. Silver, that gap from V Preventer is increased to 1.7 seconds. There must have been an incident. That allows V Preventer to focus on the Alfa Romeo of Angiolozzi, who is just ahead of him by 7/10 of a second. So lots going on here, ladies and gentlemen. Just watching back here. I am 2 Kono, 3/10 of Seb right now. So these two could challenge here on the back straight as they make their way down now. The Silver Arrows on the Mercedes verging up here on the Williams. They make their way down on the straight. Oh, a bit of a touch of a wing there as they make their way around the swooping left-hander. Seb still maintaining P4. He's not letting it lie. I am 2 Kono still in P5, trying to fight back against the Williams as they make their way down towards the second to last turn, and they've got another straight here with the one last bend leading towards the home straight. And again, they'll start on lap 23 of 29. Sorry, we're now reaching squeaky bum time of the race, ladies and gentlemen. Who's it going to be at the end of the race? Who's your pick for the winner? And who's your driver of the day? Please say in the comments below as they make their way down. Seb moves into the pits. I am 2 Kono moves into P4. So absolute scenes here. Surely he's going for the soft tyre. Let's have a look and see what he goes for. As he makes his way through towards the pit lane. Is he going to go for a last gasp here? No, it looks like he's... Well, they weren't ready for him, but they're going for the soft tyre anyway, as you can see. So they're going to go for a mission here, Seb. And in the next, what will be 6 laps left, he'll be trying to close the gap on the soft tyre. Will he also go for the fastest lap? Let's find out as we come towards the latter stages of the Grand Prix. We're in lap 23 of 29. V Preventer just in behind Angiolozzi. They're coming towards the real tricky left-hander as they make their way down now. Angiolozzi, incidentally, that gap is shrinking. That was the second gap. And, get a bit deep there. V Preventer nearly went to the back of him, but the DRS has opened. I don't think you'll be able to get him on this straight as they make their way towards the next left-hander. The stands you can see in the distance there, waiting for the drivers to come round as they make their way around the sweeping left-hander. They've got another sweeping right to take now as they make their way around it. The Alfa Romeo still maintaining that P1 position, but that's a very deep way to take the corner there, and the McLaren starts to loom up upon the Alfa Romeo. They're on the straight now, heading towards the final bend. Silver still in P3, looking further down. I am 2 Kono in P4 as the McLaren goes for the dive, and he takes it! P1 for the McLaren, but can the Alfa get the undercut as they make their way down now? The Alfa of Angiolozzi going wheel to wheel here. He doesn't have the DRS as they come down towards turn 1. Just looking further down, it looks like V Preventer has managed to get the DRS and the overtake. Amazing scenes. Going around turn 1, the McLaren driver maintaining P1, and Angiolozzi unfortunately relegated to P2, unfortunately, as they make their way around towards the next straight. The Alfa will get DRS this time as they make their way down towards turn 4, but he will not use it as they come towards the snaking bend section. So he's going to be up against it now to try and bite back on this McLaren. Just as you can see in the distance, Silver still there, but that gap to Silver and Angiolozzi is being separated by 2 seconds. So it's definitely between, at the moment, the Alfa Romeo driver and the McLaren, subject to penalties. We're now into lap 24 of 29. We've only got an estimated 5 laps left in this race. The Alfa has a look down the inside of the McLaren, and he has DRS this time as they make their way down the straight. Will he be able to close the gap? He's got 40% DRS. Surely he can do something as they make their way around the bend, but not this time. The Alfa maintains that P2 position. The McLaren still in P1. V Preventer doing whatever he can to prevent. The preventer is preventing Angiolozzi from making the overtake. I'm quite clever. I love that. V Preventer still in P1, but P2, Angiolozzi in the Alfa as they make their way down towards the final bend. This will be the last right-hander before they commence lap 25. And we're getting ever closer, ladies and gentlemen, to the final lap of the race. They make their way down now, and surely the Alpha is going to have the DRS now as he opens it up. And he will have ERS2 as they make their way down. What's it going to be between these two as they make their way down towards turn 1? The Alfa Romeo goes straight. McLaren immediately goes into defensive mode. But the Alfa Romeo, can he get the cut back as he makes his way around? No, not this time. The McLaren defends it brilliantly. VI Provenza maintaining that P1, but it won't stop Angiolosi because he's got DRS heading down towards turn 4, and it looks like he's got him here. The Alfa Romeo has cut through on the McLaren, and these two aren't letting each other go as they make their way down. And V Provenza moves up into P1 yet again, and the Alpha has got it all his work cut out for him here to stop this V Provenza from taking P1 and winning this race. As incidentally, Seb notches together a fastest lap of a 1:29 on the soft tyres. That was expected as they make their way down towards the sweeping left-hander now. Sorry, just need a drink of water. My throat's going absolutely ballistic here. V Provenza currently leading the way in P1. P2 Angiolosi currently there in P2 just as they make their way around the sweeping left-hander. And they've got yet another right angle corner here. There's another sweeping right-hander. And as they come round towards the second last bend here, V Provenza still in P1. We've got a hell of a battle here on our hands, ladies and gentlemen, as they make their way through. The McLaren of V Provenza still under extreme pressure of the Alfa Romeo of Angiolosi as they make their way around the last corner. And you'll soon be activated the DRS here on the straight here, leading down towards turn 1. What will this throw up for the drivers as they make their way down? The DRS has opened up for Angiolosi, making their way down towards turn 1, as we said. As they make their way down, could be Provenza stop him? Is he going to be a dive bomb as they make their way down? No, not this time. As they make the turn here, they'll be heading towards now the next straight, which will be heading towards turn 4. Can he use the DRS once again, the Alfa Romeo, and reclaim P1 as they make their way down now? The McLaren is in real trouble here. The pressure is real as they make their way around the next corner. That gap between Silver and Angiolosi has increased by 0.3 of a second, so it's now 2.3 second gap between him and the Alfa Romeo. V Provenza though and Angiolosi, these guys are the story at the moment because these two are battling it out for Ps 1 and 2 as they make their way around the sweeping right-hander, which is almost like a direct 90-degree right-hander heading down towards this tricky left where they'll have to tackle a very sweeping left with a bit of a dip where you can easily spin out, but these guys are taking it well as they head down the back straight. You can see the grandstands on the side there, the Red Bull, you can see in the background, and the Mercedes of IM2 Kono. Incidentally, those two drivers are still very much there, and penalty provided, they could come into the race. As we look further up the grid, the Angiolosi is only 0.3 of a second behind V Provenza in the McLaren as he makes his way around towards the next straight. He'll have one more corner before they start lap 27 here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's been an absolutely entertaining race here, and as they make their way around towards the next bend, they've got another home straight to tackle here before they start lap 27. And the DRS begins to open up for the Alpha. Will he have a go here on V Provenza as they make their way down towards the straight? The paddock on the right hand side. What's going to happen as they make their way down? The Alpha has a little look down the inside of the McLaren. That nullifies the McLaren's defence. They make their way around, and it looks like the Alpha's got it, but the McLaren holding firm maintains P1. Great defending as they make their way down towards the next straight. Angiolosi in P2 opens up the DRS, heads down towards turn 4. What's going to happen between these two now? As the Alfa Romeo goes in for it, the McLaren loses a bit of pace, and the Alpha goes in, but what's he going to get around the snaking bend? The Alpha, is he going to get it? Yes, he does! Angiolosi moves into P1. Phenomenal driving from the Alfa Romeo driver, and he moved up. Blimey. Oh dear. But yes, Angiolosi into P1 at the moment here in lap 27 of 26, making their way down towards the next straight. And it looks like V Provenza has managed to battle back and take P1 off him as well. So lots more drama here in lap 27 to 29 here at the race, Spec Esports race here at Bahrain. This championship is already alive and kicking as the Alfa Romeo walking all over the back end of that McLaren, trying to look for yet again another way through. We're about to cross the line once again for lap 28, and they'll soon be heading into 29, which will be the penultimate lap. As they make their way around now towards the final along the home straight, and the McLaren is really in trouble here because the DRS has opened up for the Alpha as they make their way down. He's only 2 tenths behind, and that gap is quickly closing as they make their way down now. The Alfa Romeo on the inside of the McLaren of V Provenza, and he takes it there and moves into P1. Angiolosi making it happen here for the Alpha, but he's going to be under more pressure now because V Provenza is going to be in P2 and about to have a go here, surely with the DRS section the way it is. Just looking further down, you can see Silva coming into play now because he's now drawn back in those 0.3 of a second, and he's now only 2 seconds behind V Provenza now. So with the battle that Angiolozzi and V Provenza have had, it's allowed Silva to come into the race now and have an opportunity at these two. So surely we can see an upset towards the end of this race. Bear in mind, we haven't seen the penalty situation just yet, so all of this could be thrown into question as they make their way around now. And there's a bit of nose in there from the McLaren of V Provenza. Down around that corner, it's a very tricky bend, and you can very much lose your traction, but he's going to go for it. And these two are going wheel to wheel. It's toe to toe. Here around the back straight, the McLaren's done it. V Provenza in P1, and Angiolozzi drops back to P2, but he's not done without a fight here. And these two have been battling it like a couple of real big, strong, wild dogs at the moment, making their way around. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, my voice is beginning to break here due to all this action. I do apologise, you can probably hear me right now. As they come round towards the home straight here, the McLaren of V Provenza coming under more scrutiny here from Angiolozzi, heading down towards the first corner. And Angiolozzi starts the lap in front here as they make their way around towards the first bend. The McLaren won't take him back here, and the Alfa Romeo leading the way as they make their way around towards turns 2 and 3. And they'll soon be heading down towards turn 4 with the DRS opening here for V Provenza. Making their way down on the straight. Is the McLaren going to make a move? Not just yet. He's saving it. As they come around towards the next right-handed bend, they'll be coming up towards the snake bends very shortly. And we're going to follow these two right to the end of the race because it could be exciting as they make their way around. Here in lap 29 of 29. This is the penultimate lap here at Bahrain. So stay with us here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, post your driver of the day in the comment section, please, so we can see who you think deserves to be the driver of the day here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. As they make their way around, it's steady in all the action. I didn't see it, but Noku has DNF'd as well. That was probably a while back. He only managed to do 1 lap on those soft tyres. But just looking at it now, Angiolozzi still in P1. V Provenza with the DRS currently trying to catch him. But it looks like Angiolozzi is increasing the gap here to 0.7 of a second. So it's advantage Alfa Romeo at the moment as they make their way towards the final few bends here of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Will it be the day for the Alfa here today as they come round towards the final bend here? Is it going to be Angiolozzi's day? Is it going to be Alfa Romeo day as they make their way round towards the final bend as they come towards the line? The fireworks will soon be upon them as they make their way round. The Alfa Romeo about to come across the line, and it's P1 for Angiolozzi. Silva moves up to P2 for Red Bull. V Provenza P3 for McLaren. I am Tucono about to cross the line. What a phenomenal what a phenomenal race. I'm Tucono P4. Troga coming across the line in P5. And that's a good result there for the Racing Point. Seb, unfortunately, after that real promising qualifying session, is going to cross the line in P6. The soft tyres just didn't do it for him in the end, and he'll finish in P6. So Williams taking those points there. I'm sure he'll be disappointed, and he is. He's showing his frustration by slamming into the tyre wall there. And Matthew Klipp will finish in P7 for Toro Rosso. Marco will finish P8 for Haas. And the Dark Champion coming round as well towards the final stretch here, towards the home straight. He finishes P9. Cabby in P10. Marco Lomi will come into P11. Lucas Gambarini will finish P10. He moves up because of penalties. Lucas Gambarini finishing in the points here today. So I'm sure he'd be pleased with that. Just looking further down. Disconnected will finish in P13. Gabo Master P14, of course. But the winner here today is Angiolozzi here for Alfa Romeo, and I'm sure he's delighted with that. Phenomenal driving here from these guys. I hope you guys have all enjoyed it in the chat. We'll just go through the final classifications here today after the race. It's been a true treat to watch as they come out to celebrate. We'll just have a look at the final classifications here at the end of the race. The winner here, Angiolozzi for Alfa Romeo in P1, Silva in P2 for Red Bull Racing, V Provenza in P3 for McLaren, P4 I am Tucono for Mercedes, P5 Troga for Racing Point P5, Seb P6 for Williams, P7 is the Toro Rosso of Matthew Klipp, Marco NC P8 there in for Haas. The Dark Champion P9 for Ferrari, Lucas Gambarini P10 for Renault, Cabby P11 for Alfa, Marco Lomi P12 for Ferrari, disconnected P13 for Renault, Gabo Master P14 for Haas, and unfortunately we lost Noku at Racing Point, and Pitt unfortunately DNF'd as well for Williams. But guys, I'd like to thank you all ever so much for joining me this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to call this race for you, and I hope you've all enjoyed it as well. Incidentally, if you haven't already, please drop a subscribe. Also, leave a like on the video, leave your comments in the box. I hope you've all enjoyed the coverage here today. My name's been George Morgan, and also known as Gio Maldonado, from me and everyone here at Spec Esports. Goodbye.